Welcome to Grow a Strong Family, Supporting Families Uprooted by Mental Illness course. And this part of the program is called Setting the Stage. I hope you have a copy of your facilitator guide. If this is for the whole course, your guide would look something like this. And then if you're taking different modules, it would look different. The course is based on this workbook developed by Nancy Pizzo-Boucher, and she has given me her permission to use her workbook, to have evolved this program, and it's an important tool to have. So it's one thing that you want to add to your libraries and have your participants purchase for their own use and to enhance their understanding of what they need to know. I am Mara Briere, and I am the founder of Grow a Strong Family. It's a nonprofit charitable organization, and what our mission is to offer families uprooted by mental illness the education, information, resources, tools, and strategies that are needed to navigate the alternative routes that families traverse when loved ones are diagnosed with a mental illness. And what we're hoping to do by training you is to spread the idea that families can network with one another and can support each other and exchange the tools and resources that they have found in their journeys to guide others along and to basically share the experience, because one of the things that families feel is very isolated and alone. Grow a Strong Family as an organization offers coaching services, skills-based seminars, webinars. We have pet therapy at the moment, a social media presence on Facebook. We have both a closed group and an open group. We maintain and update the website so that as information and resources become available, we make them known. As we develop new programming, it comes under our umbrella. And of course, so there's a blog on the page, on the website, that's also updated fairly regularly. In addition, as an organization, we collaborate with community-based agencies, and as facilitators, or up-and-coming facilitators of the Replanting Lives program, we would be looking to collaborate with you and to give you the support that you need in order to effectively do the work that you are interested in performing for your clients who have loved ones with mental illnesses. Our foreword, which is in all of our guidebooks, all of our facilitator guides, was actually written by Nancy Pizzo-Boucher, and we are so fortunate to have her participating in the development and growth of this program. Again, this is the group. If this is the facilitator guide for the support group, this is the one for safety, this is the one for caring for the caregiver, and this is the one for family strategies. These are the modules. The modules can be taken separately or as part of the full curriculum. Whichever component of the program you are registered for, we welcome you and we appreciate your willingness to learn, grow, share, and reproduce this fabulous opportunity for families to collaborate with one another. The purpose of the group is to be an open support group for family members. The only requirement is that they have a loved one with a mental illness that has impacted them. So what we're really looking for is helping our participants keep the focus more on themselves than on their loved ones. This is not a venting session. This is an opportunity to acquire the skills and strategies that are needed to have healthier relationships within the family and with our loved ones due to chronic mental illness. And so you want to reach the family members and supporters that are directly affected by the individual with the mental illness. And again, we're only looking for family members and supporters. And what the group provides is a nice, safe space where skills are learned to improve how families feel, their overall satisfaction. We want them to understand how to be safe, what it looks like, what it feels like, to develop the skills and by doing exercises, networking, giving them resources, giving them referrals, following up with them, teaching them or reteaching them how to set appropriate and healthy limits. Oftentimes, their loved ones are adults, 18 and up. The onset of serious mental illness tends to be between 16 and 25. There are anomalies, in which case it's younger or older. No matter what, it is a chronic illness and it requires a family response that's different than the typical response. So the group meetings are going to be focusing on education and support. And ideally, the group would meet weekly for 90 minutes with between session support. However, it's not realistic oftentimes, and I usually meet twice a month, once in the morning and once in the evening, to reach different people at different times. But it's up to you how you want to structure how often you meet. Ideally, there are two co-leaders with a background in mental health and group facilitation skills experience. And again, this is ideal. It doesn't always happen. The biggest benefit to having two co-leaders, aside from having somebody support you and you support somebody else, and you have somebody to bounce ideas off of, but you also have somebody to decompress with and to process how the group went. In the event that somebody in the group is being dominant or is especially needy, when you have a co-leader, then you can have one person attending to that individual's needs and have while the group continues. It still can be managed as a single facilitator, and I'm trusting that you have the skills to do so. And of course, you can always get in touch with us here at Grow a Strong Family for additional support or to process or to ask questions or to get an ability to examine how you're doing. That's one of the reasons why in this program, regardless of which module you are using, we are requiring that you have a journal. And in the journal, we would like you to basically establish what you're hoping to accomplish with each session. And then an assessment. How did it go? How did you feel it went? What was the positive things? What were things you can learn from? So we would be looking for that. The meetings are structured with an opportunity for networking 15 minutes or so before the beginning. So if the meeting is scheduled from 7 to 8:30, you of course will have to be there between 6:30 and 7. Clients can begin coming at 6:45, and you just kind of set it up that they can hang out, talk to each other, maybe get a few minutes alone with you. You read the opening, you announce the topic, general check-in, and if there's a burning issue, I usually say, does anybody have a burning issue? And if somebody does, what we do is we end 10 minutes before the break, which is halfway through the session, and give that person the opportunity to say whatever it is they need and to initiate the brainstorming to resolve their issue. And the reason we do this 10 minutes before the break is because during the break, there is an opportunity for the participants to focus on this individual and their particular needs. And then after the break, which is no more than 10 minutes, you want to give people the solid opportunity to get their skills. They're giving you their time, and their time is very precious. So we continue with the topic, and then before the session ends, we read the closing. Communication, meaning advertising, letters. Usually the leader or the co-leader will handle that, but it doesn't have to be. It could be a volunteer in the group, depending on how you want to structure your group. Group is usually financed through donations or grants. If you work for an agency, they may pay your salary and your co-leader's salary, but the group itself is free to participants. The best location is one that is accessible, central, offers parking, public transportation if possible, a private space, and bathrooms, because people are emotional and they need a space to be emotional. The question comes up, should we serve refreshments? I always think it gives everybody a sense of warmth, but it's not a necessary thing. Some of the locations that I have done trainings over the years have been very specific and said no food, but people are allowed to bring coffee, tea, water, drinks, and other places don't care. So it's really up to the environment that you are facilitating the training in. And guest speakers. Guest speakers are wonderful once your group is established. Sometimes it's a nice way to establish the group, but more often than not, you want this to be a steady source of support and networking for the particular members who are going to kind of make a commitment to coming to the group. So You'd want to have that group in place first before you would invite a guest speaker. But guest speakers round things out and also help people hear things in a different way than they may be hearing it, even from you and the other participants. In the group outline, it's really simple. You begin and end on time, you do your introductions, you talk about confidentiality, which is very simply what is said here stays here. As mandated reporters, if you hear anything that causes an alarm, you of course let people know that you are a mandated reporter and you have to file if you find anything that is amiss. But for the most part, what is said there stays there. And you go through your guide and you will see that there's a group statement of purpose, there's questions and answers, there's a check-in, mindful of each other, refrain from crosstalk. Crosstalk is when two or more individuals are having a discussion separate and distinct from the purpose of the group. There should only be one person talking at any given time, and the focus needs to remain on whatever the topic is for the session. So keep the focus on the here and now. Remind people that we're not as much interested in what happened in the past, that today's a new day, we're going to look at today and move forward. Before you end, make sure that people have an idea of what the topic might be for the next meeting. Sometimes it's something you're prepared for, and sometimes it's what you make up based on what is expressed during the session. So be open-minded and be flexible. You share by saying that this is the guideline, the leader shares this, and this is part of how you establish yourself as the leader and the consistency in the group. You always do the same things in the same order, and that creates a sense of security and safety for participants as well. And then we have the opening. Then we have a definition of a caregiver, and this is an important one. I often start a series with the rights and responsibility of family members because responsibilities is something they know. They don't realize they have rights too, and it's a really nice opening session. And there's usually some humor and occasionally some tears, but it's a great way to get everybody on the same page so that as you move forward, they have an understanding of what their rights and their responsibilities are. And we go on with what the rights are. And then finally we close. And I like to close with the serenity prayer. I remove any mention of a higher power and just go with, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. And throughout the trainings, there are going to be many opportunities to bring the serenity prayer into your sessions. And you will find that there are many exercises from the Replanting Lives workbook and from some of the other materials that we use to incorporate the idea of, do you have control? No. Is this yours to solve that? No. How can you feel comfortable letting it go then becomes the question. Very important to have all of this in mind. So, without any further ado, let's get going on the next module. See you soon.